Okay, parents, listen up. A new study links screen time habits of 9 and 10-year-old children to increased chances of developing obsessive-compulsive disorder. Researchers at UC San Francisco found the possibility of developing OCD grew by 15% for every hour video games were played, and it grew 11% for each hour of videos they watched. The findings appear in the Journal of Adolescent Health. All right, for more on this, let's bring in Dr. Jason Nagata. He is the lead author of the study and assistant professor of pediatrics at the University of California, San Francisco, the hospital where I was born, actually. Dr. Nagata, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, let's talk about really what is the overarching message of your study?
Yeah, I think the main point in this national study of 9,000 preteens is that every hour of video games increased the risk of OCD by 15%, and every hour of YouTube videos increased the risk by 11%.
What was interesting, though, is that this does not, screen time is not television time, traditionally speaking, and this does not also relate to social media and texting.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was really interesting that this increased risk was specifically for YouTube videos, which is different from traditional television because YouTube, kids can be fed very similar content through algorithms and advertisements, so they can get stuck watching the same type of content for hours upon hours. Whereas with traditional television, it's harder to be so focused on just one content area. And those screen addictions can then lead to compulsive and obsessive thoughts.
Okay, and then also so it's literally the algorithms that capture the teens, as opposed to, when we are just sending a text, we don't have that flashing before our eyes. So that is the sole difference.
Yeah, I think that's something about, if a kid is really focused in one content area, like if you're looking up something about weight loss or whatever it is, the algorithms will just feed back that after one initial search, the algorithms will feed back very similar videos forever, basically.
Okay, so if parents are watching, which I know they are, you have some tips on how to combat this. You call this a media plan. What are those tips?
Yeah, I think the first thing is it's really important for families to have regular conversations with their kids about screen times and rules for the household. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all rule, so you can consider your kids' ages, what devices you have in the household, and your family needs for communication and doing work. But in general, we advise that you could potentially have some screen-free zones and times. So some times could be like screen-free time before bedtime, since we know screen use at bedtime can worsen your sleep, and also potentially eliminating screen time during family meals to promote family conversation. And then in terms of zones, we really try to encourage screen use if it's going to happen in public spaces like the living room or family room and not bedrooms and bathrooms, to also kind of prevent more of the explicit or dangerous or violent content. I think the final rule that's really important that I have to remind myself is that as parents, you really have to role model for your kids, because one of the biggest predictors of your kids' screen time is your screen use. So if you make a family rule that we're not going to text at the dinner table and you're texting your friends or colleagues, they're just going to follow suit.
That's right. So it's not do as I say, not as I do sort of a thing. Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time tonight. Dr. Jason Nagata, thank you so much for your time and your insight.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay.